Hey, thanks for checking out this week's video. If you are new to my channel, I am LittleSqueesh and I do art time lapses and reviews and all that kind of good stuff. And this week I'm going to be looking at Zen Art Supplies brushes called the Renoir Collection. Full disclaimer, I was sent these for free. That does not mean that I was paid or told to say anything positive about them. This is just completely 100% my own opinion and honest review. First of all, I'll talk a bit about the packaging and how they arrive and my first impressions. And I love the pouch that they come in. However, the material used marks quite easily. So even though these are brand new straight out of the packet, they already have, it kind of looks like watermarks, but it isn't. So it doesn't affect its use whatsoever, but it may put some people off, so I thought I would include that in this video. So the way that the pouch closes is these two magnetic fasteners on the front that just pop on and off really easily. And then when you open it out, you can see the brushes all have their individual little pouches and then this plastic sort of cover that goes over the tips. I'm assuming that's to make sure that the bristles of the brushes don't get damaged. Now, one thing that I thought was really cool about this set is that it comes with a leaflet. So it's not just any old leaflet, it gives you a good rundown of everything that is inside this collection. It tells you all the different types, so filberts, flats, brights, angles, round, rigger, detail round, fan, wide flat, and a palette knife. It also gives you the various sizes and what it's made from, which in this set is either a badger mix or a chunking hog. Hope I'm saying that right. And it gives you some sort of tips on what they suggest these brushes work best for. So like, if you are completely new to painting, this is amazing. The fan brush, for instance, says it's great for grass, foliage, blending, texturing and softening. So I thought that in itself is really invaluable for beginners or even intermediates that have just never really got that familiar with their brushes. It also says a bit about their philosophy, that they are dedicated to quality, and then brush care, which is really good as well. So it gives you a rundown of how to properly care for your brushes. I thought all of this was great advice. The only thing that bothered me, especially is if somebody who is new to painting is coming into this with no other sort of advice for painting, is that in number 2 it says during use, never use brushes to scrub paint or leave them standing in solvents and water, obviously. But the scrubbing part is actually a very important technique to use. Well, not necessarily, you don't have to use it, but it is really handy. And I feel like the wording of this could put people off. What I feel it should say is don't scrub with new brushes because they will get ruined. Scrubbing is a great technique, but make sure you are using your older brushes for it. But other than that, I think this is great advice. And at the end, it also says, important, natural hair art brushes might shed a little at the beginning. Give them time to settle if you have any questions, and then it's got their contact email, and also mentions our brushes come with a 1-year money back guarantee. Now that is fantastic if you are new to painting. I keep saying if you're new to painting, but even if you're not, I've been painting for a little bit now, knowing that if I'm not happy with it, I can return it, no arguments. That is great. If you're just getting into painting, you've already spent a load of money on all your paints and your solvents and your canvas and an easel perhaps and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, now I need to get loads of brushes, and we all know brushes can be really expensive. So that is just a comfort to know that if these are not for you, you can return them. The other bit of information that was given was this little thank you card that's really sweet. It's from the owner of the business, and on the back it tells you a bit more about their business and how it all started, really. So information aside, going back to the look of the brushes in their pouch, they are all individually wrapped, which I'm not too bothered about, but those who don't like excess waste might find a bit irritating. They were hard to get out as well, but I mean it kept them all safe. They all had tips at the end to protect the bristles. The only one that had different packaging was the 1-inch wide flat brush that had a more sturdy plastic cover because I guess it's larger. So I'm just going through all these brushes. I'm trying to show you how the bristles look and for lack of a better way of putting it, how bendy they are, how flexible the hairs are on my hand. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I test brushes, I'm always sort of pressing them on the palm of my hand just to try and guess how they would work with paint. I don't think it's accurate at all. It's certainly not a technical test. This is something that I do. Now I've had a few brushes before. I've had some really cheap brushes. I've never really bought expensive brushes, not for oil paint anyway. I'm quite familiar with brushes molting. I have one that is absolutely awful, but I love it, so I keep using it even though it just is terrible for molting. But it is normal when you get new brushes, they will shed a few hairs. Before use, rinse brushes under cool water, gently rubbing the fibers to remove any protective glue. And you might find that some come out. Some bristles come out just there, and also as I'm showing you the close-up, I think there was a few that were kind of skew with. But yeah, overall I found molting from these brushes. I've used them now for 2 full paintings, both about a total of 20 to 25 hours each, and molting was not an issue. Every now and again the odd hair would come out, but that is, like I say, it's relatively normal, and it settled after some use as well, so no complaints there. So putting these brushes into practice, I thought I would use some clips from my elf oil painting that I posted, but real time, so you can get a better feel for how they work. I felt like the range of brushes were really good. I used the softer ones more than anything because I felt like they helped me more with the blending. So I'm trying to show you a variety of the sizes and the techniques that I was using to create this. One thing I really found useful in doing oil paints was this sort of dabbing technique, and with a fluffier brush as well, it really helped me to get those smoother transitions. So the fluffier ones like this filbert that I was using was great for that. So I felt like there was a great range of brush sizes and shapes to really help with this portrait. I think the only area they were lacking were on the smaller side. The smallest size they have in this set is a detailed round, and it is 00 in size. And although that was good for most things, I used it a lot around the eyes and for the detail hair strands and things like that. In some cases, like the eyebrows, it just wasn't quite good enough, and I found I really tried with it and I wasn't getting the results I wanted, so I ended up swapping out for some other brushes just for this area. Now I gave this feedback to Zen Art Supplies, who did tell me that they are in fact creating a detailed brush set, so I'm really looking forward to them releasing that. So if you are looking to get a set to cover everything, then this I think is fantastic, but you may need to purchase a tinier brush. To give you some sort of idea of what size I was working at, so that you can see whether or not you would need to go smaller, this painting was done just under 9 by 12 inches. And as you can tell, it's quite a large portrait, so if I was doing a smaller figure on here, I would certainly need smaller brushes. Now the only issue I actually ran into was that on my 1-inch brush, the pins came loose. As you can see in this video, they just started to sort of wobble out. So I reached out to them on Instagram and I sent them a picture of the brush with the pins coming out, and this was their response. Thank you for reaching out to us. I'm so sorry that you experienced this issue. Unfortunately, on thousands of handmade brushes, it does happen that sometimes the artisan making the brushes doesn't put enough glue or doesn't fix properly pins with the machine. Or doesn't properly fix the pins with the machine, I guess is what they were saying. We'll be sending you a replacement brush, which they did very quickly. And I haven't put that one to good use just yet. What I will do is, when I've given the new brush good use, I will update here. So if you're watching this and it's kind of an old video, check out the pinned comment below, and if there is any follow-up news, you'll find it there. But that aside, I have to say I didn't have any issues with these brushes. Beyond that, I have to say this company has probably got the best customer service that I've ever experienced with any art supplies ever. The people who run this are very passionate about what they do and the products that they create. They are also very active within the community and really care about your views and your opinions and what you are making. And I think that's just lovely for me to be able to support a company who, in my eyes, has great morals and prioritizes the right things that a company should. I'm so glad that this product turned out to be great, because I would have been gutted to have had to report something negative, but honestly I couldn't be happier with these. Just get some detail brushes. So I hope you found this review helpful. If you have any questions, whether they are technical or if you want more information on them, do pop a comment below. I tried to get back to people as quickly as possible, and I hope you found it useful. So if you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more, then hit that subscribe button. Apologies for the delay in this video. I am hoping I am now going to be back to regular uploads. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye!